Hello and welcome to a vlog that I will be talking about filler episodes in anime and animation and shows in general. So this will be mostly my opinions, and I welcome all of your opinions as well, as this will be a topic that I suppose that all of us should bring into, and I wish to hear all of your comments as well. Um, so this is an interesting topic to talk about, since the word filler episode in itself has a very negative connotation, as it is used mostly. I will be defining it here like the way I define filler episodes are episodes in a show that do not drive the central plot forward and that do not meaningfully impact the central story in any major way. If an episode has major character development moments or story development or world development moments, then I do not consider it filler. For example, if character undergoes a huge event that is not directly related to the story but does affect him personally very much, I do not consider that episode to be filler. However, let's say that there are multiple little instances where characters either show their personality or how they have developed. I do consider those episodes to be filler, since they do not meaningfully affect the plot in any way. Now, what is my stance on filler episodes might surprise every one of you, but I actually tolerate filler episodes in a very heavy degree. Filler episodes, in my opinion, have their place in anime. Well, let's just say filler episodes have their place in series. Whether they are to pad out the season, which is their worst use, of course, then it's mostly just wasting resources. Or whether they can be used also as a way to in a way to give us more levity in the show, or show more, or bring the pace back down from a high climactic episode, from a huge battle, for instance. And in that cases, that's the perfect use for filler episodes, in my opinion. You can use filler episodes, in my opinion, very effectively in travel series where it's more focused on the journey and the central story isn't very important. And in those shows, that kind of show, you can have many filler episodes which only reveal very minor parts about the world and many very minor parts about the characters, because it's not in stories that are more related to travel and are more focused on the complete journey of the characters. I feel like the fact that they do not develop in a short episode is not as important as the fact that there are some events that we get to see that kind of signify to us that they have some lives beyond the actually meaningful episodic life that they have. For example, Avatar is a very good example of this as a travel series where they have episodes that are very much filler. But however, I feel like they are justified in their existence, since they show us that there is more to their travel than just huge climactic events all the time. And it brings more pacing to the overall season of the show, and that's a very important part for a running show, or even just one season show. If you do not have some very well paced episodes, um, well, then it just falls flat and it doesn't feel very good. And if the pacing is poor, well, that's really bad, because poorly paced episodes slash seasons can be really detrimental to the overall feeling of the show. However, do I feel that filler episodes are necessary? By no means am I saying that. There are multiple shows where there are filler episodes. There are no filler episodes, I mean, and that only is good for the plot. And there are multiple shows where there seems to be filler episodes, but they are actually meant more as a pacing. A good example of this is Higurashi no Nakugare ni, where there are a majority of the arcs begin with a sort of a nice little episode which doesn't actually have all that much relevance to the overall plot, although they always do have some things in them, but that mostly feel like they are just filler. And in those cases, I feel that it is more than justified to have a technically pointless episode, since it's such an important part for the pacing of the series. However, it's very easy to go over the top um, with fillers and filler episodes, and they can definitely break a show's pacing in pieces. For an example, show with there's this one little particular show that I hold very dear to my heart, that I enjoyed thoroughly, but it had one episode, only one episode of filler in my opinion. And when I watched that series, I never watched that episode ever again. Even though it has important elements to the show, I feel like it brings the show's pacing so to a screeching halt that you should just skip it and watch it at your own leisure later on. The show I'm talking about is Puella Magi Madoka, but Puella Magi Madoka Magi Kapat. And there's this one episode that handles, I'm not going to talk about that. There's this one episode that feels very much like filler, even though it has important character element. It just does not fit into the series at all. And if you view that in the order it is supposed to be, that will break the pacing of the show so bad that it just is so jarring that it's better that you don't watch that episode at all, and after you have watched the series you go and watch it at a separate time. That's my personal view on that. But I do feel like that there are even some there is place for shows to have filler episodes, especially like they are used to best effect to mostly break up the pacing of the show to have it be more relaxing, should we say, and more bearable if the tension is ungodly high, and if the stakes are too high in the story and you just want to bring it more down to earth. So I do actually feel like filler episodes play an important part, but they are again just an instrument in the director's belt that they have to use very carefully, or otherwise they will ruin a show. Maybe not as catastrophically as in the storytelling department, or well, that's basically it. In the storytelling department you can really screw up the story, or in the, well, animation can screw up and sound design can screw up a show as well. But I feel like filler episodes can be used to enhance the show, any show, a lot. Also, there are some shows that do not really have a huge overarching story, like some skit shows that have just one episode story arcs with some really just comedy over there. And in those shows, I do not feel like there's any overarching story that could be considered to be filled up with filler episodes, since basically every episode is filler. In those shows, well, there's no filler episodes, so I don't need to talk about that. But that's overall my opinion about filler episodes. They are useful, and they can be used to great effect, but they can be detrimental if used poorly. And they are most useful in travel series to bring us the feeling of journey. That is my opinion, however. Now, I would very much prefer to hear your opinion. Yes, I know this was a shorter vlog because I just wanted to bring you my opinion about this as clearly as possible. No, I'm not reading off a script, I just stare weirdly. So, that's my opinion. Now, let me hear your opinion in the comments, if any. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Do you feel like there's something I missed? And if not, if there is, well, just tell me your opinions. With that said, I thank you very much for watching this. And as per usual, in the description there's the link to next week's straw poll that will give you the that will be voting on the topic of the next week's vlog. So I very much would prefer if you would vote there. For now, I thank you all very much for watching. Please do leave your comments. I do read each and every one of them. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day and stay awesome. Ganmu out.